Okay, welcome everyone to the podcast, the one that contrasts. Today we have another brilliant artist. We have Julia. Julia, what's your full name actually? Because I didn't get it.
My full name is Julia Kuzmina, but I'm actually don't use my second name. I usually just use Julia or my nickname. Yeah. But yes, my real and full name is Julia Kuzmina.
Okay. You want to go?
Yeah, we of course, the first day of winter, and on the title, on the thumbnail, we're gonna put your nickname, if it's all right.
Yeah, you may put Julia Cannibal Shark Kuzmina, so it will be okay. Or it doesn't matter, actually.
Okay. Yeah, the first thing I have to ask is Cannibal Shark. What is this name? How did you make it?
Oh, okay, that is an interesting question. One time I played a lot of an online games, and I was a teenager, and I wanted to have some amazing nickname, and I tried a lot of variants. And how I deal with Cannibal Shark, I just found a picture occasionally in the internet. Maybe I can send it to you later. Mm-hmm. So there is a shark on a picture with a monocle and in a gentleman tuxedo, and a shark standing like this, and in the bottom of a picture there is a sign like "I say," and it looks awesome. I really love this picture, and so I just thought, why don't be shark? And I also needed to think about second part, and I chosen cannibal because I know it sounds scary, and also it sounded fashionable those times, because if you remember, there were times of emo and trash models and something like this, and those nicknames like zombie or cannibal or skeleton or ghost were really widespread between those informal and rock culture, and I just thought I will be Cannibal Shark. And also when you make a new profile in some site, there are also they are not available, and you just can't create a Gmail profile and something like this. And I just was amazed that Cannibal Shark is a free name everywhere, and I just began to use it everywhere. So this is how I became a Cannibal Shark.
Yeah, that's
a great story.
It's I have another friend who loves sharks. Hopefully she's gonna make it to this podcast. Both girls, surprising. But yeah, she also likes sharks. They're a very interesting animal, they're required. We need them in the ocean, but they're so powerful, It's kind of like the fear you're talking about. It's like a tough image, but it's
exactly
makes sense.
Powerful, yeah. Right? Like dragon,
And
but
also,
it doesn't.
I thought that why everyone is afraid of sharks, because actually I'm not afraid of sharks or snakes. But when I became older, I thought if I will put myself in a place where will be a lot of sharks, I probably will be afraid. And also my dad said me that you are like shark, you are slow, but you're very, I don't know, how does it sound? I can't Google it. So he said me that I'm slow but purposeful. Yeah. So, but he doesn't know my nickname actually, and I was like, wow.
Slow but purposeful. It's like a shark, and I assume, all right, it's gonna be slow, but a cannibal, and he's purposeful, you know.
Just for fun. Yeah, it's just like a self-reflection when you eat yourself, like I'm not perfect. So this is kind of cannibalism. Self-cannibalism.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, the first time, well, I know about, you know, cannibalism, but the first time I heard about it in history, like just like as a real thing, was when I went to Fiji. Fiji is like a small island in the North Pacific, near Hawaii, Tuivasa, and
Yeah, I watched a show about Fiji.
yeah, they said when I got there, they were telling us about the history. They said that before like Christianity and the British came, that they used to have cannibalism, and that was like a big problem, I guess, in some ways. But also the way that they told me about it was kind of like they weren't so like shocked by it. They weren't so like ashamed of themselves. They were just explaining like, oh yeah, you know, we had to eat each other sometimes. It's like, and that's when I realized like island culture is way different from like other places in the world. You know, when you live on an island and your resources are so scarce, it's like the way that you have to live there is completely separate from how we, I guess, you know, on the big land.
It sounds like you're talking about small Russian village.
Yeah, in some ways it is, right? Like that's why there's so many like places in the world that don't have exactly the same like stuff around them, but the people live in the same ways because they have the same kind of problems, you know. It's kind of crazy. But speaking of problems, you know, what do you see as like a big problem in the world? You know, I like to ask artists this because, you know, art should be trying to fix problems.
Okay, yeah, this is not really a simple question, but for me the big problem in the world is a cruelty. Actually, cruelty to everything, cruelty to nature, to animals, to people, to each other. And I think that our nature as human beings, we are cruel. We are cruel by ourselves, and this is a problem because probably we had to be cruel in the past to survive, but now we don't have to be. But a lot of people, especially children or kids, you know, they are usually cruel, and I see the big world problem in it because people don't realize how they act, to nature or to especially animals. I just really love animals, and I'm against of circuses and like contact zoos and something like this, and I don't know how to solve the cruel nature of people, and I think that is the problem of everything.
Julia, do you think your art could solve this problem of cruelty that you're talking about?
Actually, art solves different problems. It depends on the purpose of the human who goes to look on some art. So I can to solve this problem in a way that for all people. I mean, I can solve this problem for someone who wants to, I don't know, to see something that could change his or her mind. So I think the art solves targeted problems. So for those people who came to solve them for him or herself, or something like this. But probably it can, if I will collaborate with some organization who are work with with social organization. So if I, for example, make some posters or especially beautiful posters and expressive posters, probably I can have a attention of other people. So they will see what is going on, and they will probably pay their attention on these posters that I did. Or maybe if I collaborate with some, I don't know, musicians who are, I don't know, singing about cruelty, or I don't know, donate for organization who help to some groups of people with problems, or to animals or something like this. And if I collaborate with them, so I can probably my art in this way could help to solve the world problems. But I'm not sure that any art is that some art can solve like all the problems of the world.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I think that's what Kanye West thinks. He's like, I'm gonna make this album. It's gonna be the best. Everybody's gonna praise Jesus after that. Done, you know, all problems. But yeah, it's an interesting topic, you know, because I believe just like you that art does solve problems, and I think we have put a lot of not effort, but value on like politics and laws, and we think that, you know, fear of punishment is what's gonna control most people. But yeah, I don't think it works so easily as we've seen. I think art is a much better way because people can enjoy it. You know, it's like, what do people like to do better? Do they like to do something fun, see something new, or would they rather be scared of doing something, so that's why they're not going to do it? It's like that's the constant choice.
Or when regular people consume art or produce art, they get so into that, so they could, you know, just forget about their other problems that exist in their lives or lives of their relatives or friends, you know. So it's just, yeah, it's really thoughtful response from you. But I want to shift a little bit close to art. So you mentioned collaboration, other organizations, you know, NGOs probably. So have you ever collaborated with some other artists, such as like musicians or groups? What is your experience with this collaboration?
Yes, of course. Nowadays I work with a musical group. I created about maybe 4 album covers. I really love to work with music, actually, because if you more, I don't know, closely look at my pictures, you will see a lot of emotions in it, and this is how I express my feelings about music I listen, for example. And also I collaborated with a group of art and science artists. I made like a info postcard for their exhibition. And yes, here are some examples of collaboration. Probably I collaborated with someone else. I just can't remember.
But it's enough, I guess. It's just, wow, musicians. And I also tend to like musicians more, you know, than the rest of, like, I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, blame or discard all other artists, but music has been such a powerful medicine for me personally. So when an artist collaborates with another group, that, you know, so I can relate to that more than to other kind of collaboration. So what is the vibe feels like when you are in this, you know, collaborative process? How do you guys communicate there?
Okay, one moment. I need to think. So I really love to collaborate with someone. I love to work in a team. I like to work with the group. I also was a lot of times I was ahead of some groups, like director. So I really love to work with people, especially adequate people, because there's nothing awesome to work with someone who I don't know.
A douchebag.
Yeah. You know, we have a lot of experience with that, you know, some guests who are not that great.
Yes, and this process usually goes like, people just trust me, they believe in my taste, and they just, here is our music, just make something with it, we believe you. And so I began to work, I began to immerse in this music. So like the artist immerse in its character that artist is going to play on scene. So this is, for me, it's in some ways the same, because I really try to immerse in the music of artist, and in the similar music to this artist, I searching for references that are connected with the special artist. Like I'm searching for albums, how they look like, and also I collect some references for myself. So I just think what is my feeling about this music. And for example, yeah, that's really like simple, but if I hear some summer vibes music, it's probably connected with I don't know, palm trees or sea or something like this. But this is so simple associations. I never use them. I also use like associations. I don't know how to say it properly in English. Like 10 or 11 or 8 associations, when you like have words and you have I don't know. So, for example, a computer, the first association is like an internet. And the second association will be like neon words when someone programming. And
or a first community college, you know, that's my association.
Yeah, or video games. A lot of people play video games on a computer.
Yes, so it is interesting. You see, you said me your association, and I have my own as an artist, and it will be completely different. And how we express them, it is also different, and it is really, really interesting. So I express this through my art and through my feelings. I don't know. I love to go deep when I do something for. When I do any product.
That's very well put, you know, especially when you just let out all of this, you know, associations and emotions out there, and you kind of reflect on them, try to catch them, or just follow up the sequence of associations. Because I've been really struggling with this, actually. You know, I've been, you know, living in China and trying to find my own way, what I want to do, you know, in life. And whenever I try to associate something with something else, it comes with like some strange feelings and emotions. And after the second one, I might just quit. You know, I'm not going to think that deep, as Julia just said. But, and I think it's because of the fuel. Like, I would, you know, it's obvious that music plays a huge influence. It takes like, you know, you use it as your, like fossil fuels, you know, basically like gasoline to just power up your motivation or, you know, this creativity. And that's where that's why you express some of these emotions on your art. So
yeah,
that's really interesting.
You probably thought that maybe I'm thinking a lot before I start to work, but it's not. Because I'm not really think a lot, I'm just feel, and I just try to catch this feeling and express it somehow. So
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have like any problems of like procrastination when you feel like doing it but not doing it actually, or just put it off someday later?
I love this question because many artists and people who work in creative industries are faced with this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually not, because I faced with another problem. For a long time, I didn't allow myself to relax. I just worked for weeks without any weekends, and I found myself in this point, like I can't do something, I feel weak, and I hate everything. I don't want to do anything, and it is not procrastination. It is actually more
Burnout.
Like a cycle, right? Yeah.
Burnout.
Yes,
probably.
and yes, and I after this, when I realized that I had this problem, that I don't let myself to relax, I began to do it like for special. So I forced myself to relax, and also there is problem of art block for many artists, is that when you don't know what to draw. And I don't have this problem, because I always have my feelings, and so I just can't exist, and you probably too, without any feelings. And if I always have any feelings, so I can create something. And no, so I face, not with procrastination, but sometimes when I don't have any feedback, like when I do a lot of things, and no one says like your art is bad or your art is cool, and when I have I don't know any any words about it, I'm just like I frustrating. Yes, no, and
welcome to the club.
Yeah, we feel the same way. We get no feedback or no guests want to hear us talk. It's a sad time.
And do you have a procrastination problem?
I do. Yeah, sometimes. I think for me, I procrastinate when I know something is gonna take several steps. Like, first step is like, oh, you have to create this layout, for example. And then the second step is like, okay, now you have to get somebody to join your show. Now you have to get, if I know it's going to be a process, sometimes I get like, I'll wait until tomorrow to start it. But I think I've been getting better, because I have this problem since I was a kid, since I was like 15. Same stuff with like homework. I go home. I know if I just do my homework, my mom's going to leave me alone and I can do whatever I want. But it's like, but to do homework, I'm going to have to read the book and find all the answers. It's going to be a process. No, I just want to just let that go.
But it's not bad, because you enjoy actually things that you're doing, and it could be more useful than some business that you thought you'll do this time.
Yeah. But, exactly. Again, like I think all people, we all get into that point. And I think it's about understanding life. It's like when you get to a certain point and you realize, what am I doing? Why am I creating this stuff? Why am I making things? Like, for what? For money? All right, yeah, money is one objective, but eventually, money is not really going to be a problem. I mean, we hope for all people that they reach that, but I think it's more about, you start to realize, like, there is no bigger reason. It comes to really about philosophy. People need to create their own goals in life. They have to have, like, something to measure themselves as a way of saying, like, okay, I accomplished this, and this is what I wanted to make, and that's why I made 1,000 failures so I could get this one success. But even if you finally reach that success, then you feel it the worst. It's like then you almost can never go back to doing it again because it's like you already did it, you accomplished it. But, some people are different. Some people chase that, legendary status of doing, until they die, and I admire those people.
I mean, I'm on the edge right now of just figuring out what I'm gonna do, and it's not about procrastination per se. It's just more like I've been really constrained by my feelings. I feel like I should be doing it right now, but I would rather not, or I have some other stuff, coming to my shoulders. I have like school, or I don't know, medicine stuff. I gotta go to a drugstore, so anything, this constant flow chaos, basically. That's what this podcast is all about. You never know who's gonna come on this, third grade. So I guess what I'm getting from you, like how I feel this importance of, you're believing in your, this feeling, this constant flow of emotions. So I'm going to learn from you at this point, because I've been actually on this rehabilitation path where I'm just following up my interest and just trying to, it's better to just figure it out this now, Fedor, and not tomorrow or like on your mom's birthday. No, it's today. It's like must be done. So, but at the same time, I have another question, and it's good when you have this motivation of doing something, without any procrastination. But when was the last time when you didn't have these emotions and feelings, when you were basically absent, like empty, your heart empty, you didn't have any, tenacity of doing stuff? So
So maybe I can't say an exact date. Maybe I have to think.
It doesn't happen in the day usually. It's like a period. You start to realize it, in this process, or like, oh, I've been in this shit for like 3 days already. It feels like a dream. I had
like
a nightmare this morning.
Zapoy.
Yeah, or Zapoy. Yeah, or Zapoy.
I have this feeling of like, well, I don't want to do something. I'm empty and nothing nothing in my head. When I see that like someone really successful, and I just realized that I don't have all these techniques to do art like this, because I have really old computer and really old something, and I just became like, I will never be better than some Asian. This joke that if you do something well, it is there is also some Asian guy that will do it better.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely have heard this.
Not in the podcast field, They're not as good.
But it's funny because like that's like a stereotype that's like positive. It's supposed to be positive, but at the same time, like if you're not Asian, you're like, oh, I don't want to agree with that. I want to fight that. But
yes, and also I had this feeling maybe I don't know, half a year ago, or maybe I don't know, 2 months ago, because time is going so fast. I just can't realize when I had it, but I had it, and especially when I have to work a lot, I have to generate a lot of ideas. Yes, I had this feeling like 2 weeks ago, but not in the field of making some art pictures, but in the field of my study, because I study art and science, and we have to make our thesis project. And when you are suggest some ideas to some like old people, they say something like, "Oh, it's not I don't know, art and science, or it's not cool. You're doing wrong," and you just like suggest a lot of ideas one by one, time to time, and then you're just like, I don't want to think about anything. I'm just empty. I'm tired. But yeah, I know when it happens, I know where is the core of the problem. It just means that I'm tired, and I found a good way to to make free my brains, because when you have to think a lot, to study a lot, your brain is just like, I don't know, just like a tough ball. I can describe it like this. And I found a way, so I began to tell like very, very stupid jokes. It helps me, yes, it's funny, but it helps me. After this, I feel like my head is clean, probably, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Maybe I just love to tell.
Just laugh at it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we use the same technique here, you know, if we can't if we can't make it into something, we just gotta make a joke out of it. You know, I agree with that.
You know, yeah, this trolling, we done actually a whole episode on it, you know, episode number 7 or 8, I believe. Yeah, and Tarik being a prominent troller, you know, as a unique method of this technique called, you know, bad or stupid jokes, you know.
Maybe like it sounds like that it is some special technique that someone sells at webinars and have a lot of money from other people.
I mean, you can do that.
Yeah,
you know?
I could have a seminar, you know, if you want to be my first, you know, first guest to listen to my lectures. But yeah, you know, it's this trolling idea and comedy, you know, it really does have techniques. You know, people need to find ways to surprise themselves, and comedy is a great way to do it. You know, when you tell stupid jokes, it's like your brain created it. It came up, it understood why, you know, this situation is, you know, the way it is, and then you just create a dumb joke from it. It's something, you know, it's like another art right there.
Yeah, exactly. I also enjoy when someone laughing when I tell a joke. I love this feeling that someone have fun with me, and it probably relaxes me somehow. It for my brain, it is a signal that everything is okay and you may relax. Probably it works sometimes.
Yeah, I'm getting such a good vibe right now because everything what we were talking about, it boils down to this point of feedback, you know, and we've been discussing this with Tarik a lot, you know, lately. So the feedback is essentially what makes your brain feel comfortable, you know, that the other person or people just, you know, get into this on the same page as you are, you know. So, but how do you deal with the absence of feedback? Because, like, I'm going to give you an example. I live in a country where satire does not exist, you know, where people do not understand what a troll or a bad joke that is funny means for them in China. I mean, I live in China. Everybody knows that. So how do you deal with such kind of people where they specifically, or, you know, on purpose, or just out of their intelligence, do not laugh at your bad jokes?
I just laugh by myself. I know that is funny. I know that this joke is cool, or if I know that this joke is really bad, and so okay, let's go to another joke. And actually, if people don't laugh at my jokes, so I know that it's fun. And if I feel like really if I enjoyed it by myself, if I think that it is funny, so for me it doesn't matter. Does it funny for someone else? So okay. I usually, I don't know. I have people who understand me, and
And I guess that's
this is
that's
not
the
a problem.
key. That's the key factor, you know. And I have a follow-up question. What is your audience? You know, who are those people who laugh at your jokes or appreciate your art?
People whom I study or work with, I don't know. They probably when people, I don't know, get acquainted with me for the first time. Probably I'm not do these jokes. I don't know, but sometimes I do. Just if I see that, I don't know, it's boring here, and I just began to ask, I don't know, speaker or teacher some questions like, what is the unusual place when you sleep or something like, what is your favorite joke? And people just like, oh, what? It's strange questions, but a question, but okay. And I don't know. Sometimes I just can't to make a joke in my head and begin to laugh, and people like, "Why do you laugh? Why do you laugh? And what is going on, baby? You will tell us." And I always say, "Okay, it is stupid. Everything that I will tell you, it is stupid." And people just like they are already prepared, and they so. I can tell anything after this station, after this statement.
Yeah.
So the algorithm is that you say to people, I will tell you a really stupid thing. So
Yeah. It's like
and
I excuse me in advance, you know, excuse me in advance. And then but I love this, you know, mindset and being living in this toxic environment. I somehow got confounded by, you know, this unspoken rules of conformity where you have to like abide by those rules that Chinese has set up already. So how do you survive basically in this? Well, I mean, you interact with all kinds of people, all kinds of group and environments, and some of them are not as, you know, pleasant to be in, but you still have to deal with them for the purpose, I don't know, for whatever purpose. So how do you survive? How do you keep your mindset up and running, you know?
I don't know. I just ask myself, why am I here? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? I don't know what is my end purpose.
Yeah.
And if I don't really, if I'm not, if I'm don't like something really much, I'm just, I don't know, I dropped this thing. I don't know. It's difficult.
Yeah, you have a great sense of or knowledge of yourself. That's what I can tell you, straight from the shoulder, you know, because you know it's a really stark contrast podcast between you and me in this regard, because I hadn't been following my feelings, you know. I hadn't been asking these questions to myself, like, yo, what am I doing in this class? Why did I choose? Why did I make this decision to come to this country? And I just started to realize it now, you know. I'm 21, so it's not that late, you know, not that far away. But this mentality, this algorithm, as I would call it, you just created it, and you have a very solid structure in your mind, and whatever comes and it's not as it follows, you know, by your personal rules, you're just gonna discard it, you know, like, what, or make a joke out of it. So I guess it's really healthy way of dealing with this sometimes shitty life, you know, shitty environments. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just Like I always was a kid. I always was a kid. I don't know, who likes to spend the time alone, and sometimes I had to spend my time alone because like I hadn't friends, because I lived in a really small town, and I hadn't someone who will share my interests, and so it was not really easy to find someone who you can tell with. And maybe this long time that I spent alone gave me this knowledge of myself, because I heard this statement from different people, because they said like, "Wow, you really know how to, I don't know." And so I'm usually help people to deal with their problems. I also love like psychology, and I read a lot of articles about psychology. So it is interesting for me to, I don't know, to know the soul nature of humans. And yeah, I'm not always I'm not always was a person who like is pretty know something about my soul or other people's souls, but I became older.
Yeah.
I had some experience.
When did that change for you? At what time did you start to be more interested in like psychology and why people make decisions?
Probably after, when I tried to find my first job. I worked as a graphic designer, and it was so much stressful for me, because I wasn't able to find a job. I made a lot of like test tasks, and I was ignored for many times. And after this, I finally found a job. I worked as graphic designer, and this was really like a stressful period, and I just understood that I can't be like I can't live like this. And maybe this is something that I don't know, reversed me somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this situation exactly influenced me, because after this, I thought that I would like to be an artist, not a graphic designer, and I just began to work in a direction of art. So that was...
Interesting. It's coming to me too. You know, it's like I feel I get a slight sense of, before I actually start looking for a job, I'm gonna be in this, you know, perpetual state of I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, I don't like, you know, what about this, Tarik? Could you advise me on something on that? It's like, no, it's just it's gonna come with experience, with the rejections and ignorance from other people. You know, these guys. You know, so I guess it was a really pivotal moment for you, right? But Tarik, how I feel like you guys can relate on this one, right?
Yeah, wait, what?
Especially
You were going to ask me something, Julia?
I just said that you look so serious.
Yeah, I look serious when the topic is serious, you know, about this life decision, about psychology. I had a very similar situation. I mean, I've been working since I was a kid, but like 16 years old. But what made me turn more serious and take things more seriously is just like, you know, I had a traumatic experience. My friend, he got sick with cancer when I was in high school, and he was like my best friend. And I saw how, you know, he started to lose his mind a little bit in class. And it was like, for me, it was like so embarrassing. You know, as a kid, when you're 18, all you care about is, you know, who are your friends and what other people think of them. So like when that idea of myself was destroyed by that, it's like, yo, I can't care about that. There's more serious things in life, you know, like people can really die. That's like a serious thing, you know. That's when I started realizing, yeah, I gotta understand this life more and better. You know, I have to understand people better and what what it is that I actually want, you know? So yeah, it's very similar. When you get your first job and you realize like, oh, I need money to survive. I need to turn the things that I like, the habits that I built for myself, into something that I can make money from, because otherwise life becomes a lot harder. So, it's interesting. Yeah, we have had a couple artists on, and one thing I've been wanting to ask is like, how do you deal with the understanding that you like to create visual things, you like to create basically images, but how do you turn that into money? How are you dealing with that right now?
Okay, so earlier I worked as freelance artist, and actually now I work also as a freelance artist, but it is not about some like big money, or like I have money every month, because now I'm actually study at the university. So now I work, but I have a part work, not in the field of an art, because I'm not really popular artist. I don't have many subscribers and something like this, and I don't have many like orders that are connected with art, but I do creative job. I work, for example, as mentor course of creative technologies. So I'm not, I don't draw something there, but it is creative job. Especially, as I said before, I love to mentoring people, to be a director like of some kind of group, and this is something that get me some money, and also, as I said, I work with musicians, and I really love to make covers. Not only musicians, but only like books covers and postcards and something like this. And I just get a little bit money from here. And also, I have a contact from my last job. This guy, sometimes he wrote me something that we need your help. Please make some mock-ups, or I don't know, illustration for us. And so this is like, freelance job. And now I'm not, now I'm just develop my skills. So I try to find a job that connected with art, but so this is a problem of unique style, because everyone wants something that looks like what other people do, like commercial art, and it is not really easy to find some job that your skills will be suitable for. And but if I could to find something really, directional, if I could say so. So it will be really, really good. So now I am on this way. So
yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But what if, let's say, if you're not looking for a job, but you could create a job for you? So a friend of mine, professor, he told me, like, I was not hired by, this resume on the website. I just created this job for me. This guys didn't even plan to work on this project, but I insisted on it, and now he's CTO, like general. Yeah, and it's like
This is like in a game. If you have some skill, like I have self-reflection, cool skills, and psychology skills, and someone has skills like of, I don't know, communication or making a business, like a friend has, because I don't have some skills. I don't really like social media, so I'm bad in SMM and something like this. So this PR strategies, and I don't have this skill that your friend have, but
Chinese dragon supports this statement. I feel like, wow, 100%. you're my sister right now. This PR shit. Nah, not gonna do that. But that's the problem, I've been checking these resumes, a lot of like job descriptions, and they usually put this cliche skills and like basically like labor that I'm not really suitable for position. So yeah, freelance. When did you start freelancing?
Maybe 1.5 years ago. Not really time.
Why did you decide to go on this path? Like the urge of money, or maybe just I just want to sell my stuff. I'm ready for that.
I finished the university, so I got a degree, and I didn't expect that I'm going to study at master program. So I had to do something with my life, and I decided, okay, I began with freelance, and we'll be looking for some job. And
freelance, interesting.
So, and what's interesting, I don't know. I was some kind of successful at freelance page because I don't know. So I had like orders, yes, orders there, and when I was searching for this office job because my mom wanted me to work on this standard job, and I just more found this for her. But it was awful, really, and I told her a lot of things that happened to me on this job, and that I'm really I hate it, and it will be better if I will work as a freelance artist. And so I was shocked that my mom was like, okay, if you feel bad on this job, so don't do this, and just
parents in 2020 do not understand shit. We gotta all admit that's true. My mom or my parents in general, they'd be like, yo, Fedor, you gotta pursue this IT career, software engineer, it's gotta be a very valuable, and a good position for you. But I'm like, nah. No, it's not gonna be, okay, you think so? Hold on. But whenever I try to argue this point, or just like, Mom, but I just like talking to people. No, you can talk, but you have to pursue even like higher steps. It feels like our parents are thinking in this high frequency like waves. Like it's either gonna be all the way up or all the way down. If you're not gonna pursue this career, you're gonna be a homeless person or something. You're not gonna get enough money. So, thinking in this way, like, binary way of thinking, I would call it, is just, it's like, I sometimes do think the same, this maximalism, youthful maximalism, юношеский максимализм. It's like really pervasive, among like my community, my generation. But I think like our parents still have this kind of problem, and completely out of clue of like, 2020 coronavirus, nobody predicted that shit. No, not even that grandma in Roslo, But I guess you just gotta let us do some stuff, create art, do freelance, raft, or I don't know, go hiking.
Anything, this is a big phenomenon going on all around the world. It's like, because technology has advanced so quickly in only, let's say, 10 years, a lot of our parents, the things that they were doing, basically the life path that they had was so much easier. There wasn't as many people trying to do the same thing. Like, competition was different. I heard some reference, I believe, that in around 1975, the number of people with bachelor's degrees was like under 40%, like lower than this time. Now everyone has a bachelor's degree. Now it's like a $1 bill. It's like, oh, you got $1? Good for you, man. We all have it. So yeah. It's really I think it's really hard. But interesting thing, the three of us are talking about this. We're all working on our own projects. You have freelance, and the fact that you're on this podcast, it shows that you're doing something. You're trying to interact with the outside world and promote yourself, and we would love to promote you. That's one thing that we're going to do on this podcast. It's like find people like you who have excellent skill, excellent talent, interesting from a unique part of the world, but people just don't know about you yet. Simple stuff like that. We want to be there to spread these kind of people.
Exactly. And just how many of these people are out there, I live in an international dorm, so we got a bunch of people like from all over the world, and we had a bunch of guys from Pakistan and Central African Republic, like just middle part of Africa, and they're all like brilliant minded, and it just shows like you cannot see those people on the news, or like unexpected pregnancy or like death toll. That's the main thing you get. But hopefully on this podcast, it's just gonna be like this safe island as we referred earlier. Yeah, this clear-minded, like-minded, and just chill out. It's basically like a lounge here. We're just chilling.
Come and relax.
Bring my kalyan. I want to. But
but Julia, I wanted to ask. Is there a country besides Russia that you would like to live?
Yes. Of course. So I have to say some country that I would like to live. I'd like to live in Germany.
Germany, okay. Yeah, why Germany?
I don't know, because my I don't know how it will be in English. Like my relatives, really, really, really ancient.
Yeah, ancestors, they say.
Yeah, ancestors. Yeah, lived in Germany, so maybe this is why.
Okay.
And also, I don't know. Because Europe is pretty close to Russia, and my parents live in Russia. They are not going to move somewhere, and I just would like to visit them somehow. And if I will be live in America, for example, so it will be more difficult because it is a very, very long distance, because even from St. Petersburg I have to my city when I was born is situated about 2,500 kilometers from St. Petersburg. It is really.
Yeah.
So I have to like not 8, but for about 7 hours to get there.
Yeah, the same time difference that we have here. We're breaking the time laws right now. You're talking 7 hours in advance.
7 hours, 5 hours, damn, crazy time. 12, 13 hours. So it's like, wow, it's insane. But Germany. What about Asia? Have you considered moving to Japan? They have a lot of cool artists. No?
Actually, no. But actually, I'm really open to experiences. So I would never say that I will never live in like Japan or China, because I love to have experience. It is always inspiring thing, and it would be interesting to live in different places actually. But if we're talking about like a long period of lifetime, I don't want to actually live in Asia, because the local cuisine, especially in China, I think it is not about me. Yeah, because I always choose what to eat. Yeah, it's really, really important for me. And this roasted food, it is not for me. And also mentality is completely different. I think that also the languages that we speak is really influenced on our mind, on how we are thinking, and this like science.
Behave, yeah.
Yes, and
Exactly.
also I read a lot about Japan to live there, and I understood that it is not really suitable for me because their mentality is not. I don't know.
What kind of aspects of their mentality you specifically don't like?
This like hard really working, because I like to live slow.
But you also work hard, don't you? You said you had like no breaks in a long period of time, and you've been just so industrious.
Yes, but I just try to, I don't know, to be in moment. I don't like when it says for me, do it faster, or I don't know. And I love to spend my time in, like, in the forest.
You have your own tempo, and you don't really want somebody to tell you what speed, what pace you should be on. So I totally get it. And in Asia, specifically in China, I don't think you have to overwork, just work so hard for basically, I know from like my personal experience, professor, same guy, he had to work like crazy amount of time because of like miscommunication, mismanagement, all of these problems, So, wow, it's very interesting, because I'm right now considering, or should I stay? Should I leave China? Maybe I should go to somewhere else like Europe, because we're close to it, especially people from St. Petersburg, second capital. You're just like, all the way to Finland. It's gotta just cross by boat.
Yeah, this is why I moved here, not in Moscow, because it's pretty close to other countries, and I really love to travel and try all, I don't know, new cultures. I lived for a month, maybe even more, in Montenegro. I really like it.
Yeah, Montenegro. I would go there. That sounds like a great place.
I have a good friend from there.
But choose the places where you go carefully, because some of people that I know that I was talking about their trip in Montenegro, they just said me that they dislike it, and I was surprised with this fact, and I asked them where did you where have you been in Montenegro, what places did you visit, and they said they called some most touristic places. I don't know, and they lost a lot because they didn't know where to go there. I visited, from the south to north, and I don't know, across the country. So I saw all country, and I can exactly say where you have to go and where not.
Yeah. I mean, you can drive, all the way across the country one day. It's not like Russia, it's like,
yes.
The north.
One Montenegro is size like, I don't know, St.
But you pointed out something good though. a lot of people who travel, we've talked about this a little bit before. They don't know what they're doing. You know, traveling is another kind of a skill, or like something that you should know some things before you just go on a plane and just go to some tourist areas. You know, I have never enjoyed a trip where I had to basically go to all the places that everyone already goes. It's like, what's the point? It's like, if you want to see that stuff, you can see all those other people doing it. Just, if you're going to travel, you should have like your specific reason, and not just, oh, I just want to see this, you know, building or this statue. It's like, if you happen to see those things while you're on that trip, yeah, that's great. But to make your whole trip about that, it's like, I think it's a waste, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, to make your whole trip just to look for a spot to have some ganja, you know, in St. Petersburg. Yeah, I would think it was worth it, you know. St. Petersburg is a great city, you know, way better than Moscow. It's just so, like, it's not tiny, but it's just so concentrated in this area. Maybe we just lived in the city center, you know, that's probably the reason.
We did live in the city center. But, bro, how can you say this on live camera, you know, a Muscovite saying St. Petersburg is better? Like, all your Moscow friends are like, you know,
yo, man, I gotta find a word for them too, you know, I gotta confess. Like, yo, we're in Moscow. Can you just, you know, find this small little cozy, you know, angle, you know, where you can just and go, you know, and chill out. It would be like, imagine, dude, like you were in Moscow at that time. Yo, could you imagine finding a place there? Like, yo, remember?
I could.
There was a funny.
I couldn't find a place.
There was a funny story when I bought like a few beers, you know, and we were trying to find this place to drink in downtown near to Kremlin. And Tarik was getting pissed off and be like, yo, why did you buy this shit, man? You gotta find a place now. And I was like so in haste, trying to find, and finally we got it. It was random, you know, something like in a quarter. But yeah, how do you like Moscow and other cities in Russia?
Okay. I will try to explain it in English. Maybe it will not be so easy because
yeah, you can use some Russian too, you know.
I paid attention on urban culture in Moscow. I hate this like for pedestrian ways because they are all under the ground. And if you would like to cross a road, you just can't do this because roads are really wide and traffic is crazy, and you have to go like kilometers to find a place when you can cross the road.
You have to do it New York style, you know, just cross whenever you like, you know.
Yeah, and I like St. Petersburg because if you just if you chosen, I don't know, the wrong bus, you can easily change it. And if you did the same in Moscow, you have to go on your foot for some kilometers to find a cross where you can find another bus station, and it drives me crazy.
Yo, in St. Petersburg, I wish you just said it, you know, if you even just get on the wrong bus, it's still gonna deliver you to the right place, you know.
And also, if you have to go somewhere in the center of the city in Moscow, you have to use a metro. So, and you just can't go to place on your foot because distances are crazy. And in St. Petersburg, you can go almost anywhere in the center of the city on your foot, and it's. but generally, I like Moscow because in Moscow you can find a lot of cultural institutions like amazing museums that Saint Petersburg doesn't have. I don't know. Sorry. Like
Yeah.
a garage museum is awesome. I don't know. Have you been in garage museum?
I gotta. Speaking of museums, I have to visit my own bathroom museum.
Yeah, I have not been there. I'm not much of a museum guy. It depends though on the museum. If you could sell me on this museum like really well, like if you like this, you'll find it here. Then maybe I would check it out. But it is interesting, to hear Russians talk about Russia. That's like one of my favorite things to know about, honestly, because it's a big point, a lot, especially younger people. I hear mostly complaints. I don't think I've spoken to one young Russian person who was like, "Oh yeah, Russia's great. Yeah, we have our problems, but we can fix it. We're working on it." So can you tell me a little bit about your feelings towards Russia? Why you feel, maybe you don't like living there?
Oh, yes, it is hard question because I don't really like conditions here and some cultural aspect that connected with that work culture, because if you'll try to sell an art, people will ask why it is so, expensive. You just do nothing and we won't pay you money you deserve. I don't like this culture in Russia because, and especially salaries in small towns. And this is because it is connected with our politicians. I don't know how to say. And I really like nature here, and could be a really, really nice touristic place, but the price for tickets are really high. It is more cheaper for me to visit Italy, for example, than visit like Yakutia or Vladivostok, or I don't know, some beautiful nature places in Russia, especially Kamchatka. And I dream to go to Kamchatka, but it is too, expensive. And yes, I love Russia as a nature place. I love it for food because Russian food is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Cotton cheese, dairy product, yeah, all stuff. It's a lot here.
But mentality is really hard question, especially. I suppose that territory is really big for one person control it. I think that maybe Russia is too big for one person. Probably it will be better if the system of controlling the country would be different, because I would like to tell you a crazy case, because in my town where I was born, I don't know. I have to Google this word, or like mayor, gubernator.
Yeah,
mayor. Yeah,
mayor.
Yes, so the city, municipality, что такое? So
yeah, same in English.
Yes, municipality, city municipality. So they made a road in Dvor. I don't know how it would be in English.
I mean, it's not as common, So it's basically like when you turn it in the corner and you just, it's like a long, remember China when you had to work in this narrow space, the drive line and pedestrians were all walking. So this whole, I even know this word in Chinese called hutong, but in English, I don't know, maybe like a narrow prospect, between houses,
Yeah.
Yes.
Alley, maybe alley.
Yeah, an alley.
Yeah.
So in Russia we have small territories between houses,
buildings.
Between buildings. Yes, and it goes Dvor. It's little.
Dvor.
And Yes, and the municipality people made there a new road, and people like they put it some I don't know, not
Like a
stones.
fence, right? They obstructed the way.
Yes, that just don't let someone to move there beside the people who live in one house, in one building, one house. So I'm not sure. Do you understand me or not?
Yeah,
But it is great that
basically.
for a good road, people get crazy. It is crazy for me that just a good road can be a value in Russia. I don't know why. So
As a famous classical author once said, if I'm gonna die now and wake up in 100 years, yeah, Russia will still have two problems, morons and bad roads.
yeah. So being shortly, it's something like this.
I see. Well, let's expand upon this a little bit because, it's just, again, my personal thing I'm curious about. So this mentality in Russia, like, I hear about it a lot too, and I've experienced it myself. I understand this kind of feeling of, oh, nothing's ever going to change, so why should I give it a try? But I want to destroy it, I want to defeat that idea. It's like, I think it's the opposite. You can never give up on trying to change something if you really believe that that's what's going to be better, and like, for instance, let's say you have a town with 100 people and 100 different ideas. They all have their own opinion. And one guy who's from that town, he decides, what the problem is? It's like we all have our own idea. So my idea is going to be to combine all of those ideas in some way. We're going to take some small parts of each person, what they want. And from that person who acts as like that collector, he's going to collect all the ideas. Maybe that's how you could slowly start to change the community. People are going to see like, okay, this guy, he's at least trying to organize us. Maybe it's, again, I could be crazy. I've never lived in a Russian town, and I have my own town. I could try these kind of things in America. But I think, that's how you start. One person has to be that crazy Russian who's going to try to do this. And I think it's just funny because I don't know why. Every time I see a Russian movie, I feel like the main character is always that person in Russia. He's like the one who everybody knows. All the babushkas are talking about him like, oh, I saw him drinking on the street last night. But actually he's just, drinking because he's sad that he can't fix his environment. He can't get everybody to work together and agree, like, we got to do this. And I think about Yeltsin, and I think about his life, and that's basically what he was doing. But when he finally made it to the top, all the headlines, everything you heard about is just, he's a drinker, he's this, he's lazy, blah, blah, blah. So I start to think, I think Russia has a lot of the same problems that we have here in America. Of course, there's corruption. Of course, there's people who don't want to work together. They don't want to cooperate. They don't want to just basically compromise and just agree, all right, we both want two different things, but what can we find in the middle? So I wonder, what do you think? Do you think Russia could possibly change? Do you think that it's the art scene? Maybe like you said about how people don't really want to buy art because maybe they have other problems. Maybe there's a way for artists to show people that that's what the problem is, and that maybe that could start some change. What do you think?
I think actually people see what problems exist here, but not everyone have enough power to fight these problems because we all have different resources to do anything. And a lot of people here are exhausted because they work a lot just to have some money just to survive. I'm not talking about to travel somewhere or to buy something for themselves, because it is everything is bad with the salaries here, especially what's going on with the ruble, and so now ruble is almost nothing, and it is hard to travel. For example, in Europe, when everything in euros and you have rubles and yes, so to change the environment, people should have enough of self-resources and enough of free time to do this. If you believe that you will live in this place like forever, you will do something to change it. But now we live we live in a new era, because people of our ages are easily moved to somewhere. So we live like nomads, because nowadays it is not really popular to work all life in one, have a one job for all life, have a one place to live for all life. And so the question of environment changing is not really easy. You have to do a lot to do something with it. And I think that talking about art in this aspect, I think nowadays we have with artists who are not live in a big towns like Moscow or St. Petersburg. I was on the exhibitions like this at St. Petersburg, and where other people can see how artists from small towns from all of Russia, what art they create, and maybe somehow it changed the environment. But yeah, it is not easy to discuss especially because of big territory and
Yeah, no, it's
yes.
interesting. This topic, I really start to think about it a lot, because it's my, I would say it's my biggest interest. It's like I don't like hearing about people in a very hopeless situation, because I feel hopeless sometimes in my situation. Like, I'm living in my parents' house, I still haven't got a good job and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that, at least for me, it's like I want to figure out, for myself. Yeah, maybe eventually I'll figure out how to, help myself. But I think it's more important to spend my life trying to figure out how to help other people, because if I could help some other people, then it's also a proof that I can do something for myself. That's how I feel. So I'm just thinking, like, I want to know, do you know something about maybe the politics of Russia? We don't really talk about this on this podcast that much, but do you know if is there somebody who's stopping people? That's what I really want to know. Has there been maybe somebody who tried to organize something and then you heard that it got stopped by the cops or something like that?
I know a lot of cases of it, especially it is widespread. For example, in our university, just to get some free place to do something, you have to create a lot of papers and to sign them. And when we think or just to organize something, I have to go to this person, to this person, to this person to get their allowance to do this. And it is frustrating somehow, because when you have to deal with a lot of papers to do something, it's not really cool. And this aspect stops a lot of people of doing something. For example, even some business is not really easy to maintain in Russia because of a lot of this paper job. And talking about, I don't know, some serious things. Some concerts of musicians are, I don't know, they are not delayed, but some, I don't know, organizers don't allow to make a concerts for musicians in some towns because of danger. So, and something like this. Or if you would like to, I don't know, you just, here is the aspect that if you know someone person, it will be easier for you to, I mean, to have a job, to organize something. And if you don't know exact person that you need for your purposes, it wouldn't be so easy for you to, like, to, I don't know, to organize something.
Right.
So
I got you. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I'm thinking like, yeah, how do you if the only way to make it to a powerful position is to have like a connection, some family or friendship that was, I don't even know how you make those. But so the question comes like, how do you create from nothing that kind of person with who could rise to power? It is an interesting question. It's like, does that mean that actually there is no powerful person who just came from nowhere? And then I start to think about, the kind of old history of Russia of like a guy like Rasputin. Rasputin, he was like a bum or a monk, and he somehow made it to the Romanov family. So it's like the fact, yeah, go ahead.
This is actually a problem of mentality, because Russian people usually wait for someone who came, someone strong, and solve their problems. People don't think that they can can solve the problems by themselves. This fact is known by not really wide groups of people in Russia, and our people usually hope that someone who respectful or strong will do this for you. And I wanted to say something to it, but I forgot. Okay, if I'll remember, I'll say.
Yeah, I think that's a product of the communist era, probably, right? Because in those days, yeah, you weren't supposed to figure out how to do it yourself. Government is going to tell you everything. Everything's going to be set up, and you just follow instructions. So, but now, this is, I think that's the most interesting thing. Why I'm so curious about Russia is because you guys are still in this like transition period of like, yeah, this communist era to now this democracy, which obviously it's going to take a while for people to readjust, several years. And you guys right now, both of you, Fedor and Julia, you guys are like, you are the young generation experiencing this transition. So it's like a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with comes, older people telling you what to do because they lived in that time, and now you guys are in this one. So this kind of communication between the young and the old, that's another problem, and you need that because old people know at least how the old system worked, what was wrong with it. And when they can tell younger people like, oh, like this was our problems, don't follow us in this way. At least young people can then start to change something, but of course there's always going to be the older generation that fights back because it worked for them. So why shouldn't it work for their kids? This mentality. So it is interesting, I don't know. I had many theories, as I've been learning more about Russia, just like, oh yeah, no, they can change. They just need somebody who's going to stand up. And then I realized, no, it's not that easy, and I'm sure even if the authorities in Russia saw that somebody is like growing in popularity, that's when you see the censorship, when you see, some events locked down or stuff like that. So it's definitely a fight, I would say, in Russia, But I still want to see you guys, succeed in some way. I believe, hopefully.
Yeah, it's very, very dismal and dire. I can.
Yeah, you
I
guys
really
got
wanna. It's like
you guys got so serious.
could be a good motivation of not going back actually, but I just gotta keep this in mind. Sometimes this wages, and the level of, the quality of life. I just like, if you're not gonna study hard right now, Fedor, you're gonna go to there, go back. It's like, all right, yeah, Roger that. Learning Chinese, and yeah, that's kind of sad. But man, how long have you been rolling, man?
Yeah, if we're an hour and 30 in.
30 in.
So Julia, do you have any questions for me? I'm curious. I hate to ask this question, but ask me something.
Okay, I'm just thinking about that. I became tired when I have to talk about the politician things because it is
sorry,
usually a big discussion and a really, really big topic. And I think that when I have to, I don't know, I have to first. I should think that I have to work for myself, and only then I have to work. I don't know, for something like, I don't know, for environment or for a social group or something like this. And I'm not really now on this stage of thinking about destiny of Russia, because it is more important for me to think of destiny of me because we are all on this way when you don't know what to do with your life. And if I don't know what to do with my life, how should I know what to do with my country? So
that's a brilliant point.
Yeah, I understand 100%. That makes sense.
Thanks for support. Okay, so yes, this because it's like now my brain is like tough.
Yeah, I understand. Got a little bit tired, so I guess it's the right time.
I take the blame.
I can't deal with some questions because my head at the same time empty and at the same time it's tough, and I try to remember something that I wanted to ask, but I just can't.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, maybe I would like to ask simple question: what state do you live, and do you like to live in USA, and what do you like in Russia or other countries or something like this, and why I understood that you just you pay you pay a lot of attention to other people that you are surrounded, and it is interesting because I'm more like individualist. So because I'm the only kid in my family, and I spend a lot of time alone when I was like a teenager or something like this. And for me, it is not easy to communicate with people, that because I struggle with this fact sometimes, because in Russia it is important to be acquainted with someone who can help you, and when it is hard for you to speak with with random people that you don't know, or just to write someone to say hello, let's go for a walk. For me personally, like this. And so yes, it would be interesting if you tell how do you, why do you interested in other people, and does it help you in USA, and how so how many time live in USA? born here. I just don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing like this.
So right now I live in New Jersey, which is just south of New York City, and that's where I grew up. That's where I was born and raised. Um, New Jersey is, every person who's from New Jersey kind of knows, we're not exactly the most famous state, and I don't know why I'm saying we, because I don't feel associated with this state at all, but I've been here now with my parents for like a few years, and it's not my style of place that I would like to live. It's very conservative, very small family homes are everywhere. Most people here are over the age of 45, so it's not much to do compared to the wild city that I grew up in, New York, where there's action everywhere and you're never bored there. Basically, there's always something to do. But in terms of, sorry, you said like why I can talk, why I care about other people. That's a good question. It was definitely a change. Like I said, when I was younger, I cared only about myself in the same way. I was very selfish. I didn't really pay attention to what other people are doing or how they're feeling. And after I started to learn about Buddhism, that's what changed, I think, for me. It's like I started to study a lot about Zen Buddhism. It's a Japanese style, and how understanding yourself on a certain level allows you to understand other people better. And so the first steps I had to realize is like I have to understand myself really well and just understand like, all right, these are the things you like to do. This is the habits you have. These are your weaknesses. And then once I got all of that, then I was like, okay, so now I need to see, why do people treat me a certain way? Why do I get reactions from people who, based on what I said or what I did? So then when I start to see like, okay, people treat me like this because I act like this. Like, all right, so then if I change myself a little bit, if I'm more calm, if I'm less nervous because I know I can anticipate what someone's going to say, then it's easier to talk with people. And then as I started hearing a lot of other people's lives and their problems and their, struggles with life, it started to open up bigger questions. Like, yeah, what is life really about? What am I going to do in life? What do I like to do? What can I do? And I've been very influenced by a lot of movies, like American movies and TV shows. A lot of us here are. It's like basically what's unique, another unique thing about our country. But I've always had this kind of hero image in myself of like, we have to do the most for people because it's just, you feel good when you can help another person, or at least I feel good. So I realized like, yeah, if I want to find happiness in my life, it's got to be something where I'm working with other people, communicating with them. I like talking the most. It's my favorite thing to do. Just find a way to start a conversation, learn about somebody else, and then find those topics or there's those moments in conversation that are just like, just unique and just, I don't know, fascinating. You find out something about someone else that you could also relate to, and it just feels good. So yeah, that's me. That's why I do this.
Fedor, did Tarik help you in
how? Help me. It's not just a help. I guess it's just a charity, He bought me clothes. Bought me No, I'm just kidding. Yes, indeed. It's not he has helped me. He's helping me a lot to this day. We met like 3 years ago, and since that time, 2017, he has been helping me all along the way, in both in overcoming some, mental toughness, some, life insecurities. So it's just like, yeah, it's just been a great mentor, great, friend, brother. And I'm learning a lot from him. He's getting the Man of the Year award.
You're lucky to have such friends.
I'm the luckiest guy on earth, because I have not just one person like that, but two that I can learn from that are willing to be so humble and graceful to other people. And, that's the best thing I could ever ask, I want to go. I want to go to a church, on Sunday. Gonna put some, candles for their health.
How many times? Sorry. How long you haven't seen each other?
Since September the 1st.
What was it, last year?
Yeah, last year, September.
Do you miss each other?
Yeah, so
well,
much. I don't know about
not really.
I miss him. I just want to get him to America, because China, I'm not gonna go back there. So I just want him to come here. We would have a great, duo. Together.
It is really cool for Russian person if there is someone in America waiting for you or can invite you, because it is too tough to have a USA visa for Russians.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, likewise, it's just great to have somebody in some other countries that can be a good host, Like Montenegro, why those people had a bad experience? Because they didn't know who they're going to, like they didn't have a bro or like just a girlfriend that's like, yo, come over, it's gonna be a great trip. So whenever you go by yourself, you better be prepared, because otherwise you're gonna follow all of this tourist routes, sightseeing. I mean, we did it too in Russia, but it was just like more than that.
Not really. We went. Yeah,
one day.
We went to
day,
Kremlin. That was about it. In St. Petersburg, we were just my favorite way. Just follow your nose. Follow your nose.
Yeah, I'm envy in a kind way to your friendship. That's cool.
Just imagine showing around to a foreign visitor. That was a great experience for me. It was tough. I had to recover. I started recovering on my flight to China. So when I just got, on the board, I was just like, all right, now it's time to go to another journey, So yeah, I just can't wait to go to America, I mean, not somewhere, I would not say that I want to go somewhere else now. I just want to go to America first, to just see how it's like, because I got heavily influenced, thanks, Tarik. And I guess that's also a big requirement or a reason for you to go to other country like Japan. Because what do I know about Japan? I'm not into. I bought a good knife from Japan, That's what happened yesterday, but that's about it,
I love sushi.
Yeah, sushi. Yeah, goddamn sushi. I haven't eaten that for a while now, That's just I started to cook for myself, and that's something new. But Julia, do you have any other questions?
Yes, but first I have to came occasionally art dealers or something like this. So invite me.
Yeah, for sure. We don't forget people on this podcast. That's one thing is for sure.
Even if you don't, so I would be glad if you invite me again anywhere in China or Japan or USA or in Russia. Right.
Exactly. As Tarik said, we don't forget. We basically live with the people who are on the podcast. So they will never be forgotten.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I have a question. So it mostly question to Tarik. So for us, an English language is not native language, and it is. But for you, it is native, and it is really interesting. How do you hear us? I mean, for me, when someone tries to talk Russian, it is really cool. But I hear that a person who talks this language, it is not his or her native language, because accent is so strong. And when I hear sometimes when I talk in English or someone else, I mean from Russia from Russia, because I live in Russia, I don't hear sometimes a really big differences. There exist, but they are not like so big like when some foreigners tries to speak Russian, it usually hears so well. So how do you perceive other persons who talk English, especially with some errors? I don't know. It think about, for example, maybe my skill of talking English. How do you hear me? Do you comfortable with my speech or something like this?
Yeah, all right. So this answer for me, it's different from most people. So to help you understand, first of all, I understand and I can speak some Russian. Not amazing, but good. I would say fairly good. But also in particular, I have a history with language learning. So I also speak Japanese, some Chinese and stuff. So that's first to understand. So second is I grew up in New York, and in New York we have all kinds of people, literally from pretty much every country in the world. So I grew up hearing all accents. I'm familiar, I've heard with pretty much every kind of speech in English. So for me, it's very comfortable. It's no different. I had friends with a Russian accent from high school time, and even before that. I have friends with an Indian accent. I have friends with an Irish accent, Deep South, New York, all kinds. So for me, it's very comfortable. I don't mind. I love to hear it, actually. It's just something different. It's like a unique style. Whereas when people speak regular, plain English, it's so lame for me. It's very boring and just feels like no style, no taste. So yeah, I like hearing it. So.
Thanks. And do you try to speak more slowly? Because sometimes when I try to speak with some English native speakers, they are talking so fast, and I can't realize all words that they are pronounced. So is it? Did you used to this, or you just I don't know. I don't know how to say it. So do you speak more slowly for special, or it just goes as it goes?
Yeah, well, it's a combination, actually. So I do slow down a little bit depending on what I'm going to say. I think about it before I say it, and I think, okay, which words are you going to be probably more familiar with than another one? And if I'm going to say a long word, I should say it slower. I think about that because I've just interacted with a lot of foreign language speakers, people who are not English speakers. So I got used to doing that. And I also appreciate it because when I was learning their language, it's the same. I can't understand when Russians speak full speed. So, I hope that there would be some Russians who would slow down and pronounce specific words clearly so I can, all right, I got that word. Now, if you say it fast, the next time I probably understand it. But yeah, also just my style of speaking, I'm not one of those people who speak super fast most of the time. It's I guess that's how I was educated, to speak each word clearly.
Definitely not. From my observation, it's just Tarik has always been, a passionate speaker, not complicated, advanced vocabulary being used, sometimes, but it's just like a really pleasant experience, of interacting and talking and just getting, it's more like you're getting to know a person rather than like learning a just simple language, and it's more to motivation for me personally to learn it even more deeply, get some like crazy insights into English, but I just want to say that it's in my experience of interacting with all kinds of English speakers, usually the ones who judge you really harshly are the ones who are learning that language, or especially Russians, because we like to like see like, you're speaking English? Nah, you're fucking dead, you're trash, basically. And native speakers would never, like most of the time, they would never judge you. If you're like, when you have some problems in your speech, then they're gonna tell you like, yo, I don't understand. That's the highest criticism that you can get. But it's more like, yo, I should have just slowed down, or like maybe some other way of explaining myself. So it's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's been like, 2 hours all in English. It's just insane, I couldn't do that in, let's say, a year ago or so, despite being known Tarik for like 3 years already. So it shows like you're really competent and really well skilled in English.
I really like to hear when someone tries to speak Russian, because I can imagine how much effort it's...
Да, очень сложно. Пиздец.
Yo, I just laugh all the time.
You're doing good.
Да, был 2,5 года. 1,5 года. Очень долго учить русский. Ну,
очень сложный процесс.
Да, вот так.
Yeah, and I guess the main problem, the difference. So you can think in this way, Julia. It's even your name to me. It's like Julia. It's not Yulia, because the sound, and me personally being Fedor, like all kinds of it, and not Fyodor. And not in all. I've met all kinds of people, like literally from not all kinds, but in Asia. In Central Asia, like Western Europe, they cannot pronounce it, There's this distinct sound that only Russian speakers can do, P, like, yo, and dar, with this, sound, like, just a little bit. You can hear it. Just, if you want to test somebody, if somebody is good in Russian, yeah, tell them to pronounce my name. They're going to be surprised.
Yeah, I also... I have a couple of questions. So, who is your favorite podcast guest, and who is your, perfect guest? Whom would you like to speak? Like, if you can invite any person, who it will be?
Oh,
yeah, that's
great
a crazy question.
Great question, Julia. All right, you want to go first, man?
No, please,
all
man.
right. I'll go first, All right, so the first question is, who is the best kind of guest?
No, who is your favorite guest?
Oh, okay. Who has been my favorite guest? Yeah, that's tough to say. It's not fair. It's gonna be not fair to 12 other people we asked. But I could say one of my favorites was Makoto Ear. We just talked to him. He's a space engineer for Blue Origin. So he's making like basically a habitat inside, or if we were going to live in space or on Mars, he's going to design the buildings that we live in. So that was an interesting one to hear, how his mind works, what he's thinking of, how he creates things, how he changed. He was originally going to be just an architect, and then he switched to space field. So that was a really good one.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. That's my favorite, by far. I learned a lot. I was just showing my, good skills in that podcast.
But as for my number one guest, I've told Fedor this one a million times already, and you might be surprised. It's another Russian. Her name is Valentina Shevchenko. She's currently the strawweight champion of the world in mixed martial arts. So she's a fighter. She's from Kyrgyzstan. So yeah, that's my number one guest. Valentina, if you're listening, we're waiting for you. Somebody gotta send us.
And who you would like to invite if you could invite any person?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean,
or one by one.
It's like how Yuri Dud ends his interview. Like, if you happen to be in front of Putin, what would you say? this kind of question. It's a tough one because I'm a big fan of podcasting. I consume daily, 3 or more podcasts. Just constant flow of new information and people. And I would say there's a guy, neuroscientist, and also he is known for so many things. His name is Sam Harris. And now it's actually interesting because we've talked about it with Tarik before, and at that time I didn't really know who would I pick, to be that, greatest of the greatest, that most wanted guest. But now I guess I would want to talk with Bruce Lee if he was alive. I watched his documentary recently, and I just got really inspired by him, by his story. But I don't know, this most wanted guest, he's definitely, or she's definitely coming, That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you. So I have to go now because I have a lesson.
Yeah. All right, we understand.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming. We're gonna eventually lose track of this number, but I think she's the second guest who we both didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Definitely. And we did a good job, man. It was wow. I had such a great conversation with an intelligent, young, beautiful Russian lady. So it's just every time, people like you that come to the podcast or I see on the street, it just doesn't really happen at all recently. I'm just the only one Russian.
Yeah, can I ask, so how did you find...
Oh, we found you from Paulina. Paulina suggested that we talk with you. Yeah, we had her as a guest, so yeah, shout outs to Paulina.
Okay, thanks. Thank you a lot. So
now I'm gonna block her. Yeah.
I'm interested. So, did you find in her subscription, or she told you? Yeah, I was just interested.
Yeah, she told us. We asked her for a good guest, someone who she thought would be a good person to talk with. So she said,
I'm glad that Paulina
that she picked the right one. God damn. But thanks again, Julia. It's been a pleasure for me to talk again. With a Russian intelligent woman, I was just happy as fuck. I'm gonna be I'm switching back to Russia, maybe it's not that bad, ladies wise. But all right, it's been a Contrast podcast. See you next time.
Yeah, bye.
Peace, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.